Not back.
See,
Because that timing was perfect on the hip hugger. That was great. Oh, wait, no, now we're back. How about that? So I got to do it.
Yes, sir.
Hey, we're back, and this is Bud Fields, our outdoors columnist here at the Kokomo Perspective. And tomorrow at 5:30 p.m., we're going to see his first outdoor show. Bud, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Man, you were dressed sharp today.
Hey, I can't help it. I just got this from the Salvation Army and enlisted for 4 years, and I'm ready to go.
I didn't know they had an enlistment program over there.
Well, that's the only branch of the service I could get into was the Salvation Army. So.
Sure. So how does this half camo work? Does the deer only see you?
Well, this is my out in public. This is what I refer to as my Walmart camo. You see a lot of people wearing this. They don't know anything about deer hunting, but it looks like they do because they're wearing camo. See?
Right. So that would.
But I've got the full bore camo that I wear for special occasions like weddings and family reunions. You know.
Sure. Yeah. Need to make a quick exit. That camo comes in handy, huh?
Well, you knew my daughter, Stacy.
I did.
I told Stacy from the time she was real young that when she got married, I was going to wear camouflage as I walked her down the aisle. And when the day finally sadly came, I was walking her down the aisle. When we got there to the pulpit, she said, "Dad, you let me down." I said, "Why?" She said, "You always told me when I was growing up you was wearing camo." Well, I had a fountain pen in my pocket that was actually camouflaged. And I pulled that up and showed it to her, and she got to laughing, and we were the only two people in the church that knew what was up. But
That's good. So, with your show starting tomorrow at 5:30, what are some of the things that our viewers can expect from you?
probably a little bit of humor, as if you could probably tell by now. But I'm hoping to take this program. I'm starting it out basically like everybody's a beginner, because like I'd said in the past, that a lot of your outdoor programs are keyed towards people that's been into it for 20 or 30 years, and they're bypassing the people that's just starting out. And people can get intimidated by seeing people shoot these huge bucks or catching the big bass, and it just doesn't happen that way. So I'm going to take it from step one and gradually take it up there. But I want it to be informative, I want it to be educational, and I want to promote the outdoor lifestyle.
Okay. Now I'm not an outdoorsman. I'll admit that straight up. I'm not very good at fishing, and I've never even fired a gun. So how are you going to attract me into the outdoor life?
Probably with a great deal of difficulty.
Okay.
No, I'm just using that as a joke, but I've had a lot of guys do that. You know, they may come over and they may go out in my backyard and watch me shoot a bow or a crossbow, and you know, that's something they might have seen done before, and after they watch me a few times and see that I actually miss the targets too, they're not intimidated. Before long, you know, I'll ask them, "Would you like to try this?" Well, some people will get into it quite easily. Some people it takes a little bit more working on, but once they've tried it and see that it's not going to hurt them, and that, hey, if somebody that's done it 40 or 50 years, they're not going to hit the bullseye every time, or they're not going to catch the fish every time. That's what I want to do with this show. If and when we get out on the water, we may go out there and catch 100 fish in episode 1 or 2. The next time we go out, we might not even catch a fish, but that's why they call it fishing and not catching. And I want people to realize that. You're not going to see us get a nice deer every time. We might not even see a deer, but it's going to be as it happens. And I want them to know it's just going to be a lot of fun to be out there too. That's the main thing about it. To get out there, have a good time, make memories. I can recall back when I was a kid, you know, hunting or just fishing with my father, and I lost my father at an early age. I felt like I was somewhat cheated out of a lot of things that other boys get to do with their dads. And then when we had kids, I think I went overboard by making it available to them in such a high degree. But I don't regret it. And really, to tell you the truth, I don't think that they did. And now that's come down to grandkids and great-grandkids.
Right, right.
I got a 7-month-old grandson. He's already got a fishing pole.
I don't doubt that at all. Now, this sounds like a different type of outdoors program than what I'm used to seeing, because the guys that are on TV, they love to have the big buck on film with the kill, and they love to bring in the big lunker.
Right.
But you're more about the experience then.
Right.
Are you going to be teaching me more about proper lure, proper scent, proper...
Well, I hope to. I mean, and there's no one right fish and lure for every situation, and I'm going to try to explain to the people why at certain times of the year maybe a certain lure will be more productive. And people ask me, which do you prefer to use? Do you prefer to use live bait, or do you prefer to use artificial lures? Well, I can use them both. If you want to catch fish and numbers of fish, I recommend the live bait, because you can take a minnow, you can take a night crawler, a red worm, or a bee moth and go to basically any body of water and you're going to catch fish. Now, when I fish these bass tournaments, we're not allowed to use live bait, so we have to use the artificial lures. Well, then that's when the dexterity and all the information you ever learned comes in, because you have to take something that's made out of wood, made out of plastic, or some other foreign material, throw it out there and present it to a fish and make him think that it looks like a Big Mac and he wants to eat it. And that's when it gets kind of technical. But I plan to do that. I plan to cover fishing with live bait, artificial lures, why I'm using it. Water temperature will have a lot to do with it. Fishing pressure will have a lot to do with it. But I don't want to throw it on everybody all at one time. I would like to take it step by step by step by step. And it's just like a kid. When you take a kid fishing, the kid don't care what they catch. They just want to catch something.
Right, right.
And if you take them out there and they get skunked, you're going to lose their attention, and they're going to lose interest in it. But it happens. I would like to stand here and tell the folks that, hey, I do fishing and I do all these catching and win these tournaments. Well, I've had fun. I've won some, and there's been a lot of times I've gone out there and got skunked. I've always said to fish, don't ever read my articles. But I've got clips laying on the piers and the lily pads, you know, during the season where they can come up and read it and know they're supposed to hit this.
Right, exactly. Well, it's a literacy gap there. I'm not sure who teaches those
literacy and illiteracy gap there. I think the fish are smarter than me. But I always tell everybody, you watch that professional on the Bassmasters on TV. He throws that lure out there. A fish gets it every time. I'm better because I can throw that lure out there and get it back where the fish does.
I didn't realize that was actually the point. Then I must be an excellent fisherman.
See, you're catching on already. And just a minute ago, you said you couldn't do it.
I think we're going to take a commercial break here, and we'll come back a little bit more with Bud. Tell you what, you're missing stuff off camera. I'll leave it at that, because
no.
Some of that stuff's probably not good for airing. But you know, it's winter. It's February. It's awful outside. This is after hunting season, as I understand it.
Right.
Unless you're a glutton for punishment, it's really not fishing season yet. So what kind of season is this?
Oh, it's kind of warmed up, and we've lost a lot of ice, but there is ice fishing, which is a lot of fun. But working boat shows and expos is a lot of fun. I just returned from the Ford 59th Annual Indianapolis Boat Sport and Travel Show at the Indianapolis State Fairgrounds, and I had a blast. I'm exhausted after 10 days of walking on the concrete. I was 6'10" before the show started. I'm down to about 5'9" now, but I had a great time. I talked to some people down there that some guests that's going to be on the show. The Howard County Conservation Officer, he's going to come in and talk to us about fishing and boating regulations. Let me see, who else have I got? I've got one of my friends that I work with, especially like today, all this rain and slush. The Frog Tog Corporation is going to come in. We're going to talk about some of their rain gear options that's available for the outdoorsman.
Great.
And, of course, we've had one of my buddies on here from the Kokomo Bass Anglers, but it's a lot of fun. I enjoy working the shows. I even got my picture taken with Boomer, the Pacers mascot, and I told him or her, whichever, that I think it was a him because it never said anything. It stood there and listened to me, and the women don't normally do that. Right. But I told him, I said, I'm going to use this, put this picture in my column, and I promised Boomer I was going to make it famous. And he done backflips. Of course, he was doing those as I walked up before I told him that. But what really got me is they got a huge PA system down there. When I walked in to the sports show this year, on the show it said, the intercom come over and said, the great fisherman Bud Fields is here.
Really?
I was so embarrassed. I wish I'd never picked up that microphone. Everybody looked at me, you know.
Oh my gosh.
But I think everybody's going to have a good time and learn a lot about this show. Like I said, it's going to be tomorrow at 5:30, and we're going to be talking about different types of fishing lures, fishing tips and techniques, and there's going to be some pretty interesting guests, and I hope everybody tunes in and really likes it.
How about sneaking out of the house so the wife doesn't know you're going hunting and fishing? Is
that's
that part
easy.
of it?
That's easy. I had a lady ask me that. But the easiest thing to do if you're having trouble getting out of the house is when you shave, instead of using Aqua Velva, you buy some of this skunk scent and put that on your hands and wipe it on your face. Then you try to snuggle with your wife. I guarantee you're going to get out of the house. You might not be on your feet when you go out of the house, but that's one sure way to get in.
There you go. You want to go hunting and fishing? There's the advice from Bud Fields. Bud, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Pat.
Tomorrow, 5:30 p.m., and you'll be able to watch it anytime after that airs there on KokomoPerspective.com. Thanks for tuning in this morning. I'll be back tomorrow with Kokomo for You Mornings. This is Pat Muncy with the Kokomo Perspective.